Hello, good evening, Monday evening. Welcome to North West Tonight with Roger Johnson. Thank you for joining us. Our top story, two 12-year-olds, yes, 12-year-olds are charged over the recent riots in Southport and Manchester. One of the children admitted taking part in two separate disturbances. Also tonight, an arrest warrant is issued for a company director wanted in court for the online abuse of Hillsborough families. As Manchester Airport declares a record July, we'll see how its £1 billion makeover is nearing completion.
And last night, DJ was lucky enough to capture this incredible photograph of the Northern Lights and the meteor shower. Can we get some good snaps tonight? Join me at the end of the programme. I'll give you all the details.
The two youngest people to be charged over the recent rioting so far are from the Northwest. You probably couldn't quite believe it when I said it, but one 12-year-old boy has admitted two charges of violent disorder over incidents in Manchester, while another 12-year-old has been charged over the first outbreak of violence at Southport Mosque. Katie Barnfield's been following this. She's in the newsroom for us live this evening. So, Katie, where are you? There you are. Tell us a little bit more.
Well, Roger, neither of these two boys can be named for legal reasons because they're just too young. The first boy, as you say, has already admitted throwing a missile at a police van and also being involved in two separate incidents of disorder. The first was when a group of people gathered outside a hotel housing asylum seekers in Newton Heath on July the 31st, and then a second incident in Manchester city centre on August the 3rd. Prosecutors told the court that during the first incident, the boy had been caught on CCTV handing a rock to another young person, and he was also part of a group that attacked a bus with both the driver and passengers inside. Then in the second incident, he was filmed by police kicking the window of a vape shop. Now, District Judge Joanne Hurst said the boy was more involved in the violence and disorder than any other defendant I've seen coming through these courts, adult or child. The boys pleaded guilty to two counts of violent disorder, with his lawyer saying he was absolutely ashamed and really upset for his mother for what he's put her through. The other 12-year-old boy was charged with violent disorder over the first incident of rioting that broke out outside Southport Mosque on July the 30th. That was, of course, just a day after the three young girls lost their lives in a stabbing attack in the town at a Taylor Swift-themed dance class. In that riot, more than 50 police officers were injured as groups of people gathered outside the mosque, hundreds of people, some of them attacking the mosque, throwing things at it, wheelie bins, and even setting cars on fire.
And Katie, there have also been two people charged with stirring up racial hatred. Tell us about that.
There have indeed, Roger, two people from the Northwest, two men, in fact, from Runcorn in Cheshire, have been charged with publishing written material to stir up racial hatred. 36-year-old Christopher Taggart and 34-year-old Reece MacDonald. We understand both of these charges relate to online posts. Now, so far, 927 people have been arrested and 466 people charged over the recent rioting. Although things do seem to have calmed down in recent days, the Prime Minister, Sir Keir Starmer, we understand, has cancelled his summer holiday and also says that ministers remain on high alert for any further outbreaks.
Katie, thank you very much. Katie Barnfield there, live for us in the newsroom. Now we'll go behind the scenes at Manchester Airport and look back on the Olympics shortly. Look back as well on the first weekend of the Football League season. Kay's got the weather for us as well. But first on the programme, a safeguarding report into one of Brianna Ghey's two killers has found that there was no evidence that she was a serious risk to others before the murder. After the murder, the Warrington Safeguarding Partnership commissioned a review into Scarlett Jenkinson's involvement with the different agencies, including her move to the school where she met Brianna. Two people have been arrested on suspicion of murder after a 57-year-old man died after falling from a fourth-floor balcony in Salford. Officers were called to the incident at Blackfriars Court on Sunday night. A 37-year-old man and a 40-year-old woman remain in custody. Police are appealing for witnesses and dashcam footage after two men were killed in a crash involving two motorbikes, on the Snake Pass in Derbyshire. The men, one in his 50s, the other in his 60s, were pronounced dead at the scene. The road was closed for several hours yesterday. 4 people have been arrested on suspicion of arson following the large fire at a former printworks in Crewe on Friday. 250 people were evacuated from nearby homes, but all have now been allowed back. Two 19-year-old men and a 19-year-old man, two 19-year-old men and an 18-year-old man remain in custody. My apologies. A 12-year-old boy has been released on bail. Now, a company director from Manchester has been convicted of sending malicious communications about the Hillsborough disaster, which led to the deaths of 97 Liverpool football supporters. Paul O'Neill from Kings Road in Old Trafford was not in court for the trial, but magistrates decided that the case could go ahead without him. In a post on social media, O'Neill described Liverpool fans as vermin. Andy Gill reports.
On Facebook in October 2022, Paul O'Neill, here at an earlier hearing, wrongly claimed that the Hillsborough disaster was caused by drunken ticketless fans turning up late, described it as a great day, and said he'd heard some Liverpool fans, whom he described as vermin, were still alive in body bags the day after the event. Marco Catena from Prenton in Wirral survived the disaster. He exchanged online messages with O'Neill and reported O'Neill's post to police. Mr Catena says the post's exacerbated mental health problems he's suffered since 1989.
It takes over. It takes the emotions. I'm an emotional person, like all of us are. The emotions took over. My stomach went, and I've read it, and I've read some of the comments several times, and I thought, what's going on in this man's, or so-called man's, head? That's what it done to me.
97 Liverpool fans were killed in a crush at an FA Cup semi-final at the Hillsborough Stadium in Sheffield. In 2016, new inquests ruled that they'd been unlawfully killed because of police failings and poor stadium design, and that fan behaviour did not contribute to the tragedy. The court heard extracts from a police interview in which Paul O'Neill admitted sending the comments about Hillsborough. He said, "Yes, that was me. I don't dispute anything." He described his comments as distasteful and said, "I shouldn't have got involved." He also agreed that the comments were grossly offensive. Paul O'Neill did not come to court today, but the magistrates decided the trial could go ahead because of the seriousness of the case and the time that's elapsed since the offences.
The comment where he said, "I believe some of the women were still alive the day after in body bags," with a smiley face next to it. It's going to be the worst ever Hillsborough-related comment.
The chair of the magistrates, Larry Collier, said they found that the comments were grossly offensive, that Paul O'Neill had sent them, and that he was therefore guilty of sending malicious communications. Because O'Neill was not in court, they issued a warrant for his arrest, and he'll be sentenced at a later date. Andy Gill, BBC North West Tonight, Manchester Magistrates Court.
Now, the family of BB King, one of the 3 little girls killed in Southport 2 weeks ago, have said that her funeral will take place next Saturday. They described BB as full of joy, light and love in a tribute released yesterday through Merseyside Police. Well, also yesterday, the funeral of Alice da Silva Aguiar was held. Her parents said that she was the perfect dream child who moved our world. Yunus Muller reports.
A public show of love and support. Alice's parents are in unimaginable pain. Her father Sergio carried his little girl's coffin on his shoulder. And Alexandra was joined by family and friends for her daughter's funeral at St Patrick's Catholic Church in Southport. Alice's uncle, Richard Lira, spoke on their behalf.
You moved our world with your confidence and empathy. Being around you was a privilege. We cherished every milestone. You completed us. You were taken away from us too soon, and we often ask why. Why here? Why us? Why you? We wonder if you ever thought of us, called for us. We wonder if you felt any pain. We hope not, my darling.
Alice wore a natural smile every day. It wasn't forced, and it wasn't put on. It was everywhere she went. It was her best friend.
This was the last picture taken of Alice before she was killed at the Taylor Swift-themed dance class.
You have shown great courage in asking me to be here today, to speak, to give a message from you, Alice's family, to say that you do not want there to be any more violence on the streets of the United Kingdom.
Together with new images, a video of her was released.
Hey guys, today it's me. I got my makeup on to test my teacher. Look at this. Bum-buddy-do. And now guys, but thank you for watching all my videos.
If I could wish for every child who was at Churchtown to have Alice qualities, I would. We are letting you go dancing now, Alice. Teach those angels a few dance moves. Keep daydreaming, Alice.
May our lives tell your story.
This was a celebration of a young life. Moving forward, her parents say will be hard. Some days better than others, but they won't be alone. Jonas Muller, BBC Northwest Tonight.
The funeral yesterday of Alice de Silva Aguiar, one of the 3 little girls killed in Southport a fortnight ago tonight, or today. Right, we've got Richard with a roundup of all the sport for you before the end of the programme, and Kay will have a full weather forecast for you as well. But if you own a smartwatch, you'll know about the health benefits that it offers by tracking your activity and certain health features, although in my case, being on holiday for the past week on my watch, I know how little I've done. A similar idea, though, albeit a little bigger, is now being used in farming to help to keep cows to reach their peak performance in producing milk. Our environment correspondent Judy Hobson has been to Pemberton's Dairy in Lytham to find out a little bit more.
Enjoying the fresh Lancashire sea air, the herd at Pemberton's farm. Every cow here is wearing a numbered collar. It's collecting vital information about each animal.
So the collars on the cows will monitor everything the cow's doing. It'll monitor the activity of the cow. It'll monitor how well, Tilly, come here. It'll monitor how well the cow is eating, how well the cow's ruminating. And what we mean by ruminating is a cow will eat her food, put it into her first rumen. She'll then digest it again, and then she'll start cudding. We'll have a baseline of each of the herd of how it should be. Let's say they're eating for 7 hours a day. And if that cow drops to 4 hours a day, we can just pull that cow out, take her temperature, just give her a bit of an overview, see if everything's okay.
This is Tilly, and back at the farm we can find out more about her from her collar.
So the blue line is what the herd's doing, and the actual bars is what Tilly does, and she's following really what the herd does. So a nice healthy cow, not a problem at all. The only thing, she had an increased eating time on that day, which is no problem. She might have just been a bit hungry.
But earlier today there was a problem with cow number 100.
Her eating had decreased, her rumination had decreased, and her inactivity had increased. So it says to us that she doesn't want to eat, and she sat down for long periods of time. So obviously there's something wrong with that cow. Oh, hey girls.
Sure enough, a quick check showed she had a mild infection and was treated straight away.
We found that we are detecting problems quicker.
The collars also measure how much milk the cow produces and therefore how much food it might need. This cattle foot bath has been installed with cutting-edge technology.
Cow's feet is really important on any farm. If a cow has good feet, they'll get up, they'll eat, they'll produce more milk. We have got now a camera on our foot bath. So it takes a photo of every single foot and it will detect problems, monitoring if they've got lesions, monitoring if they've got digital dermatitis. It's finding the problems, so this will find the problems before they are a problem. Herd is getting even healthier, so cows are probably staying another year, 2 years, whatever on the farm. And so we're doing this thing called, not purposely, accidental expansion. So our cow numbers are increasing because the herd's becoming healthier.
Tom Pemberton has embraced technology. From monitoring sheep on the fells to digging up weeds in crops, it's developing at a fast pace and it's transforming this once traditional industry. Judy Hobson, BBC Northwest Tonight, Lytham.
And the wonders of modern technology. Now, Manchester Airport said today that last month was its busiest July on record, with 3.2 million passengers passing through the airport. It's also claimed that almost all passengers waited less than 15 minutes to get through security, 97% of them, with most getting through in less than 5 minutes. Well, bosses claim that this shows that its £1.3 billion upgrade is starting to pay off. And for the second part of our series, Behind the Scenes, at the North's biggest airport, I've been looking at exactly what they're doing. Airports are noisy places, even more so when they're also a building site, and that's what Manchester Airport has been since 2017 as a new terminal has taken shape.
Phase 1, we built it on a site that was ring-fenced from the airport. Phase 2, we've been doing that whilst 30 million passengers are going through here, so that maintaining operational disruption at an absolute minimum is something we've worked really hard with our airline partners on, and to date has been really successful.
I drove past the building work for the new Terminal 2 countless times. When it opened in 2021, I assumed that was it. In fact, the old terminal, which opened in 1993, has been stripped out and is being refitted by around 600 construction staff. Millions of people went on holiday from the old Terminal 2, and this was where you bought your duty-free. It was the duty-free shop, and it's hard to imagine that in just a few months' time, this building site will be the security hall where your hand luggage gets scanned as you head towards your flight. Next year, they'll knock through and join the refurbished terminal to the new one. Inside, you might not notice the join. Outside, it's a little more obvious.
Since we've opened the Terminal 2 extension, we've seen our customer feedback scores increase significantly, which we're very proud of. And that's what we're looking to do with the rest of the development works as we finish.
And there was plenty of room for improvement, with the airport often ranked poorly in customer surveys. Those other parts of the project, which Ian Costigan mentioned, include a new pier for the biggest planes to use, modifications to the airfield so that they can move around, and new baggage systems and security scanners.
This isn't just about Manchester, this is about the North. We're saying we'll be proud to connect the North, and that means connecting the North to the entire globe.
The airport commissioned a report from consultants which, it says, shows that passenger numbers could double to 60 million a year over the next 25 years.
Today, we bring £6-7 billion worth of GVA to the UK, most of which goes to the north of England. You look out 25 years, that could be triple. So you double the passenger numbers, but you triple the economic benefit to the north.
That would be around £20 billion a year. GVA is gross value added, so that's basically what the airport claims that it could add to the economy. Big numbers and big ambitions, which might take Manchester Airport to new heights. All being well, we'll have more from inside the airport next Monday. We're off to look at the sport now, though. We'll celebrate our fantastic Olympians in a moment. Richard's here. Well, first of all, they're going to talk about Preston North End.
Yeah.
One game into the new Football League season, and they need a new manager.
Yes, Roger. Ryan Lowe has left North End after just one game of the new season, as you say. That was a very poor 2-0 home defeat to Sheffield United on Friday night, with boos at the final whistle. Criticism from P&E fans had grown last season. The club says Ryan Lowe himself decided the time was right to leave after more than 2.5 years in charge.
We obviously had some very direct conversations during the close season. And therefore, I think, sitting here today now, I think there's a culmination of events that have taken place that have ended up in Ryan making this decision.
Blackburn Rovers got their championship up and running on Friday night with a thumping 4-2 win at home to Derby, with Burnley starting what they hope will be an instant return to the Premier League at Luton Town this evening. Here's a look ahead to that opening game for the Clarets and a look back at our weekend winners in Leagues 1 and 2. A new season for Burnley, with the challenge of bouncing straight back up to the Premier League under a new boss with 2 championship promotions to his name, who wants to see a new approach from his team.
There's tactical elements, there's a style of play. We need to get to a point where we're a winning machine, really, and we need to change that, or certainly change that mindset in certain instances.
Last
season's beaten playoff finalists Bolton Wanderers got up and running with a battling 2-1 win at Leyton Orient. Dion Charles and substitute Victor Adebayojo, who'd only been on the pitch for a few seconds, with the goals. Stockport County also got off to a flyer, winning 2-0 at home to Cambridge United. Promoted County marking their return to League One in style. Louis Barry with a superb opener, Kyle Wootton a thumping second. Both Barrow and crew would have been looking to put disappointing ends to last season behind them, with the Bluebirds coming out on top thanks to a single goal from defender Theo Vassell on his debut, enough for a win in Stephen Clements' first match in charge. And relegated Fleetwood Town also have maximum points on the board thanks to a 1-0 victory clinched by a debutant, Mark Helm, with this tidy finish against Grimsby.
Real positives in terms of new players coming in, how we're trying to play and do things, and again it's a good start to the season.
A fine start for Charlie's Cod Army.
Great to have football back, isn't it? Not everyone will agree. But Manchester City already have a trophy in the cabinet this season after taking the spoils in the All-Manchester Community Shield. United looked to be on course to win at Wembley after Alejandro Garnacho had scored, but Bernardo Silva equalised in the final minute to take the match to penalties. A shootout, City won 7-6. Manuel Akanji there with the decisive spot kick. Just brilliant, Rog. Just absolutely brilliant games. Not just for the Northwest, but brilliant.
Yeah, Paris did a good job, didn't they, as well?
Yeah, they really did.
Did you have a highlight for our local competitors?
So many there, were there? James Guy in the pool, obviously Keely Hodgkinson. But I think for me, it was Bryony Page. Yeah. Just her reaction when she won that trampolining goal.
She was world champion already, wasn't she?
She was world champion, won silver and bronze at the Olympics, first Olympic gold. Just her reaction was amazing. What about you?
Yeah, I mean, Bryony was fantastic. I thought Keely Hodgkinson was sensational to win the 800 metres. By such a distance as well.
In such style.
Yeah.
Yeah, she was
just
brilliant.
sensational. And the reaction of her club, I watched the programme last week, was wonderful.
Yeah, and Cindy's club in the boxing as well. Yeah. What about you, Kay? What was yours?
Oh. Maybe not quite so close to home, but I really enjoyed watching the French pole vaulter. Do you know Anthony Amarante? But we are a family show, so can't go into any details.
Look for the pictures.
I'll move
the unforgettable.
Swiftly on to your weather photos. Check out that thundercloud from this morning. Oh, I heard them all night long. But once they cleared through, we started to see it brightening up. Bit of a fresher feel to the weather. Thank you to Dave for sending that photo in. Now, if you would like to send me in your photos, I would love to see you. You can join me on all the socials, or better yet, become a weather watcher and send me a photo of where you are. And actually, I really would like those tomorrow, because tonight, again, another chance of seeing the Northern Lights and the meteor shower. This is what it looked like for Mike on the Isle of Man last night. Beautiful photograph. I have put a reel up on Insta, giving you a few top tips on how to take those photos. So if you get any, send them in to me. So it's working quite well because we've got clearing skies. That's just behind the cold front that brought those thunderstorms. But then we start to see another front come through as we head through tomorrow. So it will turn cloudy and wet. But for this evening, really lovely conditions, actually. Still a little bit breezy, more so for the Isle of Man. Overnight tonight, it is going to stay dry, but we'll start to get cloud filling in. And now the winds for the Isle of Man, we could be gusting up to around 35 miles per hour. Elsewhere, it will be slightly lighter. Temperatures 10 to 13 degrees, so a fresher night tonight, although home's really already still quite warm, aren't they? But fresher air. Now, first thing tomorrow morning, we will have some sunshine around, but the cloud will start to roll in and we'll start to get outbreaks of rain pushing in across all parts. Some of that is likely to be heavy, especially for more southern parts later on in the afternoon. Temperatures up to 22 degrees, probably won't feel like that. It will be quite a windy day. But that will clear through, and actually we'll start to get a clearance with high pressure, giving us a ridge of settled weather as we head through Wednesday. So for Wednesday itself, we're going to wake up fine and dry, decent spells of sunshine. A little bit of cloud affecting more eastern parts, but that will clear through. All parts stay dry. Temperatures we start to climb up to, again, around about 20, possibly 21 degrees. That's average for the time of year. And then we flip-flop, once again, cloudy, wet and windy weather for Thursday before we end the week on a fine note. So all in all, not too bad.
Good. I'm still wrestling with you and the French pole vault.
You're looking at me with very sad eyes. Disappointed dad.
Thank you for watching, whatever you're doing. Have a lovely evening. Good night.